There is something undeniably haunting and deeply romantic about the architecture of the past. When we walk through the threshold of a home built a century ago, we are not merely entering a building. We are stepping into a time capsule of human behavior, a physical record of how our ancestors lived, breathed, and interacted with their environment. Modern architecture, for all its sleek efficiency and technological brilliance, often feels sterile, stripped of the quirks and idiosyncratic details that made old houses feel like living, breathing organisms. Today, we are going to peel back the layers of time to explore 10 architectural features that were once the heartbeat of the domestic sphere, but have since vanished, replaced by the cold convenience of the digital age and the efficiency of mass production. These features tell stories of a world before refrigeration, before instant communication, and before the standardized cookie-cutter layouts that define our suburban landscapes today. As we journey through these forgotten nooks and crannies, I want you to consider the craftsmanship required to build them and the tactile relationship those early homeowners had with their living spaces. Think back to the early 20th century, a time when the morning ritual was heralded by the clinking of glass bottles on the front porch. Before the era of plastic jugs and massive supermarket chains, milk was delivered daily by local dairies. To facilitate this, without the homeowner having to brave the cold or the early morning dew, architects designed the milk door, or milk chute. This was a small, unassuming square hatch, usually located near the front or side entrance, cleverly designed with a dual locking mechanism. The milkman would place the fresh, cold bottles inside, and the homeowner could retrieve them from the warmth of their kitchen, effectively creating a seamless transition from the outside world to the breakfast table. It was a simple, elegant solution to a daily chore, reflecting a level of community trust and logistical foresight that we rarely see in our gated, delivery app-dominated society. If you have ever found yourself in an old Victorian or a craftsman-style bungalow, you might have looked up above the bedroom or parlor doors and noticed a small rectangular window on a hinge. These are transom windows, and they are a masterclass in passive climate control. Before the advent of central air conditioning and forced air heating, managing airflow was a matter of survival and comfort. By opening these transoms, a homeowner could encourage cross-ventilation, allowing hot air to rise and escape while pulling cooler breezes through the lower parts of the house. It was a sophisticated, low-tech way to ensure that even in the sweltering heat of August, the interior remained breathable. They were often adorned with delicate stained glass or intricate woodwork, turning a functional necessity into a decorative focal point that added character and light to even the darkest hallways. As we stand here contemplating the ingenuity of these past designs, I have to wonder, how many of you have actually encountered these features in person? Perhaps you grew up in a house that still has the original milk door, or maybe you have spent hours stripping wallpaper only to reveal the outline of a long-forgotten transom window. Take a moment right now to head down to the comments section and tell me your stories. Do you live in a house that still boasts these historical relics? Or do you remember your grandparents' home having one of these peculiar architectural quirks? Sharing these experiences helps us keep the history of these homes alive. And speaking of history and the preservation of craftsmanship, if you happen to be a contractor, a handyman, or a professional in the trades who works on restoring these beautiful historic structures, you know that the complexity of the work requires equally sophisticated management. That is where Invoice One Pro comes into play. If you are struggling with the logistical nightmare of tracking labor hours, generating accurate estimates for delicate historic restorations, or simply trying to keep your personal bookkeeping from becoming a chaotic mess, Invoice One Pro at invoiceonepro.net is the ultimate tool. It is designed to handle the heavy lifting of invoicing, CRM, and scheduling, allowing you to focus on the artistry of your craft rather than the headache of paperwork. Whether you are a small business owner or just someone who demands professional-grade organization in your personal life, Invoice One Pro brings the same level of care to your business that a master carpenter brings to a custom staircase. Continuing our journey into the bowels of these old homes, we find the coal chute. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, coal was the lifeblood of the domestic sphere. It fueled the massive boilers that provided steam heat, and it kept the kitchen ranges burning for hours of slow, deliberate cooking. The coal chute was a heavy, slanted metal door located at the base of the foundation, usually near the street for easy access by coal delivery trucks. It was a dirty, labor-intensive system that required the homeowner to be constantly aware of their fuel levels, but it was also a testament to the physical connection between the house and the city's infrastructure. The delivery men would slide the coal down the chute directly into the coal bin in the basement, filling the room with a fine, dark dust that would settle in the corners for weeks. It was a visceral, tactile way to heat a home, a far cry from the invisible, automated heating systems we rely on today that hum quietly in the background, disconnected from the source of their power. Moving upstairs, we encounter the laundry chute, a feature that feels like a luxury, even by modern standards. In a multi-story home, the laundry chute was a vertical shaft, often hidden behind a small cupboard door in the bathroom or hallway, that allowed dirty clothes to be dropped directly into the basement or laundry room. It was a brilliant optimization of space and movement, eliminating the need to haul heavy, overflowing baskets of clothes down steep, narrow staircases. It represented a desire for efficiency and order, a way to keep the living areas of the house pristine and free of the clutter of daily life. Today, we have replaced this with the laundry room on the main floor, which is practical, but it lacks the mechanical charm and the sheer satisfaction of dropping a load of clothes and hearing them thud into the basket far below. In the hallway of many early 20th century homes, you might find a small recessed archway or a wooden shelf built directly into the wall. This is the telephone niche. When the telephone was first introduced into the residential market, it was a heavy, wall-mounted piece of technology that required a dedicated space. These niches were not just functional, they were designed to be a centerpiece of the home's communication hub. They often featured a built-in seat and a small surface for a notepad and pencil, creating a private, semi-enclosed space where one could conduct a conversation away from the distractions of the main living area. It was an era when the act of making a phone call was a deliberate, singular event, not a constant, fragmented distraction we carry in our pockets. Perhaps the most fascinating and complex of these features is the dumbwaiter. Imagine a miniature elevator operated by a system of pulleys and ropes running vertically through the walls of the house. This was the ultimate servant of the domestic sphere, used to transport food from the kitchen to the dining room or firewood from the basement to the hearths above. It was a marvel of mechanical engineering on a domestic scale, requiring regular maintenance and a keen understanding of weight distribution and tension. It allowed the house to function as a machine, moving materials and resources exactly where they were needed with minimal effort from the inhabitants. The existence of a dumbwaiter in a home speaks to a time when domestic labor was highly structured and when the house itself was designed to facilitate a specific, highly ordered lifestyle. When we look at the structural complexity of features like coal chutes, dumbwaiters, and the intricate plasterwork that often houses these systems, we are reminded that old homes are not just buildings, they are puzzles. If you are a professional in the construction or remodeling industry, you know exactly what I mean. You are often the one tasked with opening up these walls, discovering the remnants of past wiring or old mechanical systems, and trying to integrate modern solutions without destroying the historic integrity of the home. It is a delicate balance of art and science, and the administrative burden can be just as complex as the physical work. You are managing estimates that need to be precise, tracking labor hours on projects that never go exactly as planned, and keeping clients informed while juggling multiple sites. This is precisely why Invoice One Pro at invoiceonepro.net is so essential for the modern contractor. It is not just an invoicing tool. It is a comprehensive CRM that keeps your client history, your schedules, and your overhead calculations in one secure digital place. When you are standing in a dusty basement, looking at an old coal chute and trying to figure out how to frame a new wall around it, the last thing you want to worry about is whether your invoice template is up to date or if you have tracked the hours for your apprentice correctly. Invoice One Pro allows you to manage your business directly from your phone, giving you the freedom to focus on the work that actually matters, the restoration and the craftsmanship. Whether you are a plumber dealing with century-old pipes or a painter working on historic trim, having a professional-grade tool like Invoice One Pro ensures that your business runs with the same precision and reliability as the homes you are working on. Let us turn our attention to the exterior of the house once more. Before the convenience of the electric refrigerator, keeping food cold was a daily struggle against the elements. Enter the icebox delivery hatch. This was a small, exterior-facing door, usually located near the kitchen, designed specifically for the iceman to deliver blocks of ice into the insulated icebox without entering the house. It was a brilliant bit of logistical planning that kept the kitchen floor clean and the housewife's privacy intact. The icebox itself was a marvel of insulation, usually lined with zinc or tin, requiring a constant supply of ice to keep perishables from spoiling. These hatches are now mostly sealed over, but if you look closely at the exterior siding of many century-old homes, you can still see the faint outline or the repurposed trim where that little door once stood, a silent witness to a time when refrigeration was a physical commodity delivered by hand. Inside the rooms, we find a feature that is both practical and aesthetic: the picture rail. In the days of lath and plaster walls, driving a nail into the wall was a recipe for disaster. Plaster is brittle, prone to cracking, and difficult to repair. To solve this, homeowners installed picture rails, wooden moldings placed a few inches below the ceiling line. Using specialized metal hooks and wires, residents could hang their artwork, mirrors, and portraits from the rail itself, allowing them to adjust the height and position of their decor without ever marring the surface of the walls. It was a sophisticated system that encouraged the frequent rotation of art and kept the walls pristine for decades. It is a shame that modern drywall has rendered this unnecessary, as the picture rail adds a wonderful sense of architectural depth and elegance to a room, framing the space and drawing the eye upward. Another remarkable, albeit less common, feature is the speaking tube. Before the era of electronic intercoms, or even the widespread adoption of the telephone, large homes were often equipped with a system of hollow brass or copper tubes that connected various rooms. By blowing into a mouthpiece in one room, a whistle would sound in another, allowing the occupant to speak through the tube and be heard clearly in a distant part of the house. It was a low-tech acoustic intercom, a direct line of communication that felt almost magical in its simplicity. These tubes were often hidden within the walls, with only the elegant, ornate mouthpieces visible in the parlors or the servant quarters. They represent a time when the house was a connected ecosystem, where information could travel through the very structure of the building itself. Finally, we arrive at the humble dust corner. If you have ever spent time cleaning an old staircase, you know how frustrating it is to get a broom or a rag into the sharp, tight angle where the tread meets the riser. To solve this, builders installed tiny, triangular brass or metal pieces in the corners of each step. These were called dust corners, and they were designed to round off the sharp angle, making it impossible for dirt and hair to accumulate in the crevice. It was a simple, thoughtful detail that reflected the pride of the craftsman and the homeowner's desire for a clean, well-maintained environment. They were often polished to a high sheen, serving as a small, decorative flourish on the staircase, turning a mundane cleaning task into a slightly easier, more aesthetic experience. As we look back at these 10 features, the milk doors, the transom windows, the coal chutes, the laundry chutes, the telephone niches, the dumbwaiters, the icebox hatches, the picture rails, the speaking tubes, and the dust corners, we are reminded that the houses of the past were built with an acute awareness of the daily rituals of life. They were designed to support the specific, tangible needs of their inhabitants, from the delivery of milk to the acoustic connection between rooms. They were houses that required active participation. You had to open the chute, you had to adjust the transom, you had to polish the brass. This relationship created a deeper sense of home, a feeling that the building was a partner in the business of living. Today, we have traded this active participation for convenience, and while our lives are undoubtedly easier, we have lost a certain tactile magic in the process. We live in houses that are designed to be invisible, where the systems are hidden and the maintenance is outsourced to machines. But there is a growing movement of people who are rediscovering the value of these old homes. They are stripping away the layers of mid-century renovation to reveal the original woodwork, the high ceilings, and the hidden mechanical systems of the past. They are honoring the craftsmanship of a bygone era, and in doing so, they are preserving a piece of our collective history. If you are one of those people, if you are a homeowner who loves the quirks of a pre-war house, or a contractor who spends your days breathing new life into these structures, then you understand that the work is never really done. It is a continuous process of learning, adapting, and managing the complexities of old construction. And as you continue your journey in home improvement or professional contracting, remember that you don't have to manage the administrative side of your life with the tools of the past. Just as we have moved on from coal chutes and speaking tubes to more modern, efficient systems, you should be using the best tools available for your business. Invoice One Pro is the digital equivalent of a well-built house. It is solid, reliable, and designed to make your life easier. Whether you are generating a quick estimate for a client, tracking the hours spent on a complex renovation, or simply keeping your records in order, Invoice One Pro at invoiceonepro.net provides the professional framework you need to succeed. It is an investment in your business that pays for itself in time saved and headaches avoided. I encourage you to check it out and see how it can help you bring your operations to the next level. The history of architecture is not just a history of styles and materials. It is a history of human ingenuity and the desire to create a space that truly serves our needs. Every time we walk through an old house, we are walking through the solutions to problems that our ancestors faced long ago. They were not just building boxes to live in. They were building systems to support their lives. By understanding these features, we gain a deeper appreciation for the evolution of our homes and the ways in which our lives have changed. We see the transition from a world of manual, physical connection to a world of digital, invisible convenience. And while we may not want to go back to the days of coal dust and ice delivery, there is something to be said for the thoughtfulness and the craftsmanship that went into every corner of those old houses. So, the next time you find yourself in an old home, take a moment to look closer. Look for the outline of a milk door on the porch. Look for the small, hinged window above the door. Look for the brass triangle in the corner of the step. These are the fingerprints of the past, the subtle, beautiful reminders of how we used to live. They are the stories that the walls tell, if only we are willing to listen. And as we continue to build and remodel and shape our own environments, let us strive to bring a bit of that same thoughtfulness and craftsmanship into our work. Whether we are building for the future or restoring the past, the goal remains the same: to create spaces that are not just efficient, but meaningful. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the architectural history of the domestic sphere. It has been a pleasure to explore these forgotten features with you and to reflect on the ways they shaped the lives of those who came before us. Don't forget to leave a comment below with your own stories of hidden architectural gems you have found in your travels or in your own homes. And if you are ready to take your construction business or your personal bookkeeping to the professional level, head over to invoiceonepro.net and see what Invoice One Pro can do for you. It is the perfect tool for the modern professional who appreciates the value of good work and the importance of staying organized. Keep exploring, keep building, and keep honoring the history that surrounds us every single day. Until next time, stay curious and keep looking for the stories hidden in the walls of the homes we inhabit.